every time we breed animals in Minecraft, we get Matt in the text going, "Did you video it?" There's like an achievement called the repopulation that comes up. So Matt's like, "Did you video it?"
Vaguely sinister.
Oh yeah,
the
animal
great thing
sex.
is it's both porn and snuff, because once they've breeded, you kill one of them. So
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Splitting Pixels. We have made it to episode 3. It's actually been quite an exciting week for the podcast in that Matt has finished off our artwork.
I have.
So we actually, hopefully, will be getting this out to people very soon. There will be episode 1 and 2 that are out kind of, but well hidden at the moment until we finalise some stuff. Though the kind of eager-eared amongst you will notice that we are missing Sophia today, but we have replaced Sophia just for one episode with Ian. Say hello, Ian.
Hello, Ian.
There we go. And so it's myself, Matt, Alice and Ian for today. I'll get us started off with the game section. So I know... Have any of you guys played Metal Gear? Like the Metal Gear series?
I briefly played one of them and then got eaten by a crocodile and turned it off.
Oh, that'll be number 3 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 3 was very frustrating.
I also smoked a cigarette before I died.
That's
'cause...
literally all of them. That is a game mechanic.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I smoked a fag, I got eaten, I turned off.
Good game.
Yeah.
And I'm only aware really of the latest title, which I forget.
Ground Zeroes.
Ground Zeroes, that's it.
Cool.
Which is stunning.
So the reason I'm mentioning Metal Gear is that they have now officially announced the release date, it being the 1st of September this year. I'm very excited. I'm a massive Metal Gear fan. I've played them all, apart from the very old pre-PlayStation ones. But the story at this point is so convoluted, it's really impossible to kind of know what's going on.
You have tried
I've
explain it to me.
Yeah. The fact that the timeline isn't linear either. It starts with number 3. It's weird. It's like 3, 1, or hell, the new one's going to be the second one in the timeline.
Oh, wow,
I think.
okay.
So it's going to be very strange. It's it's absolutely ridiculous. But that's kind of why I love it. It's not just got a ridiculous story, but the gameplay is also ridiculous. So it also has a £100 collector's edition.
I heard about this, yeah.
Which has some really nice collectibles. It's got like a making of DVD and a steelbook, which you expect for almost every collector's edition these days. But it also has a half-scale bionic hand.
I like the look of that. That thing looks cool.
Yeah.
But it's half scale, so I can't replace my actual hand.
No.
True.
Well,
But,
then what's
so
the point?
Explain the hand though. What hand is this?
So-
I've only heard the fact that it is a bionic hand.
So they have kind of left some gaps between Ground Zeroes, which was almost like a tech demo for the Phantom Pain, which is the game that's due to come out. In it, at the very end, like some really heavy shit goes down, you could say. And basically, you know that you start the Phantom Pain having woken up from a coma, missing an arm.
Ah, okay.
Goes a bit Empire.
So this is a new.
Yeah.
This is going to be a new feature for the game. I assume it'll have some.
It's not, from the looks of things, he uses it just like a regular hand. And the game itself is set in the 80s. So it looks like maybe they've been holding back on some major scientific breakthroughs since the 80s, if that's the case.
It doesn't go all Inspector Gadget.
Well, it could do, maybe. To be honest, knowing Kojima, I'll bet one of the fingers breaks off and it's a lighter so he can smoke more cigarettes.
I was kind of hoping it would turn into an umbrella so he didn't get wet.
Yeah, all those
Always
cigarette.
handy. Or a little key, like from the Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always.
What if it like shoots out a cardboard box that unfolds itself
Well,
and then he can
that's
hide in
just
it?
silly, Alice. Come on. Get on the same page as everyone else. It's quite clearly a giant sword or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or a rocket launcher.
Yeah, I could see potentially all of these things.
If I was picking attachments for my bionic arm, I'd much rather have a rocket launcher than a cardboard box.
But which would you rather have, a rocket launcher or an umbrella? Or a cat?
How about
Cat launcher.
a cat launcher?
Cat launcher's good.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of
They're
Family,
holding umbrellas.
Family
and
Guy
it's
have
back down.
Adam West. Don't know if any of you guys have seen Adam West in Family Guy, but
Yeah.
he's the mayor of the town. He's
Mhm.
hilarious. But he's got like a crossbow that he uses to fire cats.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Ideal.
But yeah, so I'm really excited for Metal Gear. I'm hopefully going to try and get Matt playing some of the older ones.
Well, I'm going to be playing Ground Zeroes. That purely because my flatmate owns it. I've watched him play, and not even play it, just run around and
And
see
you know
what-
you
see
can
what
batter through it in
you
like
do.
a couple of hours.
It's also repeat play fun. Just
Yeah.
sneaking around. I love the Hitman games, so I know I'm gonna love this.
Yeah. I'm just really looking forward to kind of seeing, like, I like open world games for the most part, and I love Metal Gear, so seeing those two cross over could be really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so after that, we found out, I think it was at GDC last week, that Elite Dangerous is coming to the console. The only one who, well, I don't know if you've played Elite Dangerous at all, Ian?
I haven't, unfortunately. I'm really looking forward to playing it though.
I know that Matt has played quite a bit of Elite Dangerous.
I have. I'm an experienced commander,
So-
exploring the galaxy.
From what you've told me, you mostly like the exploration factor.
I
You're
do.
not so much for the dogfighting or...
No, I run. Just like most games I play, when it gets into heated gunfire, I
So you
back away.
scream and then you run.
Flee.
Yes, I really do. No, it's the classic exploration game. It's everyone's dream to, well, sci-fi nerds,
Yeah.
dream to go into space, and this is an awesome opportunity.
And blow the things up that they find in space.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. There's a fantastic group, a Facebook group that are aiming to explore every star in the game. And
Isn't it like a full galaxy of stars?
It's yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking thousands, hundreds of
gonna take a
thousands, and it's not one man's job. But he went on Facebook. I forget where I read this. Well, I'll find the link for the show notes. And he's got hundreds of people signing up, and they're all in the early stages of the game when it was, well, before now, all getting their ships ready and kitted out as much as they could, and then they're just going to all disappear off and visit every star one by one.
It sounds pretty cool.
That's an adventure.
I mean, there's that, and then there's Star Citizen, which we spoke about briefly last
Mhm.
week. Just the amount of attention that space exploration games seem to be getting. It's interesting to see this come to the consoles because I know that PS4 players in particular were really looking forward to No Man's Sky.
I am especially looking forward
Absolutely,
to that.
that's
It's
going to be
amazing.
stunning. That's a different style, though. That's
Absolutely,
a lot more.
It's more
vibrant,
it's more
creative.
stylized.
Yeah.
The color palettes and stuff, everything's procedurally generated.
Mhm.
I imagine most games of this nature probably have that, but the fact that this No Man's Sky is being made by, it's like a principal team of maybe 4 or 5 people.
It's a really small team. It's Hollow Games, isn't it?
Yeah. And they're doing most of it out of like a basement. I think they were flooded when they had the floods a couple of years ago, but they didn't lose too much. But the prospect of a team that small making a game that kind of epic in scale is quite impressive and quite inspiring as well.
That's true.
I'm really scared that that's No Man's Sky in particular is not going to live up to the hype. 'Cause it looks
Yeah.
so incredibly beautiful for one, but it just looks like such an amazing game with huge potential, and I just keep getting pangs of like when I saw Spore at GDC for the first time and how incredible that looked, and then it came out and it wasn't so good.
Well, that's the Will Wright kind of factor. A lot of his games, they have that amazing potential, but the scope
Yeah.
never lives up. We spoke about Peter Molyneux last week as well, and he is the kind of principal criminal for that kind of, writes a check that he can't cash. It's unfortunate, but hopefully, getting back to Elite Dangerous, it'll open it up like kind of Space Sims to a much wider audience. Although it'll be interesting to see how that plays with a controller. I wonder if they'll maybe bring out a joystick or something.
I think they'd need to. There's a lot of combinations there. It's
the controller would probably lend quite well at Spaceflight, would it not? Because you've got full 3D movement with both the sticks as well.
I guess you do, but
I'm trying to think of the last game that just used a controller for space combat and felt good, and I'm struggling to come up with anything.
it's just the navigation. I'm trying to think of, if you've got head tracking or an Oculus and you're playing this game, you look to your left and it brings up your solar map and galaxy map as well, and everything to your right you've got all your ship hard points and containers and all sorts of things, and I would struggle certainly, or just thinking about it off the top of my head. I imagine I would require more buttons, but I guess it's how you divide it up. There's a guide for that.
Maybe that'll work really well for the Steam controller.
Yeah. Well, I saw
point.
that had been announced last week as well at GDC. I think it's $50, which is fairly reasonable for a controller when you consider that Microsoft charged like 50 odd quid,
Yeah.
and so does Sony, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable.
But that will be 50 quid when it comes to Britain, surely.
Probably
It's the way it
45 or
works.
something.
But I'm intrigued by is it haptic controllers that it's
Yeah.
called?
Well, I mean that's why.
Weird trackpad thingies.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a factor that tipped me towards Xbox, because I love that controller.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the haptic feedback triggers are really cool. I haven't really played much that involves shooting. Mostly, Alien, which if you're shooting it means you're probably in trouble and you're too busy frantically trying to run from something. And Lord of the Rings, which doesn't really have much shooting in it either. But yeah, I really do like those controllers. But yeah, so Elite Dangerous looks pretty cool. Here's hoping it actually looks good when it transfers as well, because not all games like that do. Okay, quite a big one for me. Although it just makes me a bit sad that I've sold all of my accessories for it. But Rock Band 4 was announced last week as well, coming out in 2015, and it's going to be compatible with all the DLC that you bought last generation.
Wow.
Which is huge. Like for EA to do that,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. And apparently they have like over 1,000 tracks.
Well, it keeps it alive.
ready-
That's
ready
great.
to go for the new
They'd
one.
be foolish not to use that.
Mhm.
But also, what's the controllers like? Are they updating them in any way?
No, well, there will be a new set. I've seen them. They're all Fender guitars.
Okay.
Um,
but say with 5 buttons or 6 buttons.
Yeah. I
on
think
the neck.
ergonomically they'll be the same. But yeah, the fact that they're allowing you to use your old equipment and your old
That's fantastic.
stuff that you've paid for, that doesn't sound like an EA move to me.
Yeah, that's not very EA-like, is it?
No, so it's really
Usually
cool.
have to buy a brand new controller and then buy all your old DLC again in a classic pack.
But surely when you're faced with such a problem of what to do with all these peripherals, they have one use and it's for playing music games. If they brought out another set, surely there'd be a backlash and it would stop people buying this game. If you show commitment to the...
There would definitely be a
Brand.
backlash. I don't know if it would stop anyone from buying the game, because gamer protests always end up with everybody just
That's
buying
true.
the game.
Yeah,
at the end
look
of
at
it.
every time Call of Duty get no dedicated servers for
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
No
Let's
pre-orders,
boycott
2015. Never forget. I'm gonna pre-order this though.
Yeah.
It's great.
The thing is, like, I don't think I've pre-ordered a game since I was a teenager, back when there was actual scarcity sometimes. Nowadays, if you desperately want something on day one, you can get a digital release for about the same price.
Well, that's where all the bonus items come from. A custom Lego man.
Yeah.
That'll make me pre-order
The only-
Marvel superheroes or whatever.
The only reason I ever pre-order anything is just so I can preload it on Steam, so I don't
Yeah,
have to wait
exactly.
for it to download.
Yeah.
That's
Like
pretty
you
much
can
it.
get it on day one,
Mhm.
or you can get it before day one, and then start playing it
Yeah.
at the minute it's
I
released.
suppose.
You've done that, in fact, haven't you? You've
No.
been waiting for downloads to happen while at work.
Maybe.
They have really, really been hammering. Was it The Witcher? They've been really pushing for pre-orders for The Witcher, but I think that's just because it's such a high-profile game. Everyone is a bit disappointed that it didn't come out last year, and now it's going to almost be a summer release. A little bit sad, but I am still really looking forward to playing that. Actually, speaking of certain games that someone might or might not have pre-ordered, I
We all
wanted,
look at Alice.
I wanted to bring up the subject.
I just looked at you because they did.
I wanted to bring up the subject. Basically, because I have very limited free time, I actually feel guilty going back to play old games that I know I love. Does anyone else have this issue where they're like, no, I should be playing something new?
Well, only because this week I bought 2 games that one of them has been on my wish list on Steam for a while and it was half price, and then another game I actually greenlit on Steam.
Alright, okay.
When it was still in development, and then I was like, oh my god, it's out. How did I not know about this?
So you had already
and it was
paid
half
for
price.
it and then...
No, you don't pay for it, you just vote for it to be pushed
Right,
onto
okay.
actual Steam when it's being developed.
Okay.
And I saw that both of these games were half price, so it was like £7 or something, so I bought both of them. And then Sophia and Matt were like, hey, Minecraft!
So you haven't played either?
I haven't played either of them,
good.
and
I'm
I
so
bought them
sorry.
on like Tuesday.
Barbie Horse Adventures 4
And Pretty Princess Castles.
Alright, okay.
Awesome.
Which I also pre-ordered.
Yeah,
So it looks amazing.
understandable. No.
What is it that you bought?
It's Never Alone, which also has like another name because it's Inuit.
Alright, okay.
It's
Yes, I've heard of this.
it's on your wish list.
Yeah, exactly. That's why
It's
I've heard of
also
it.
on
Awesome.
Sophia's wish list,
Okay,
but this
cool.
means nothing because you both have like 100 games on your wish lists.
Wow.
Well, we'll get to my story in a second.
So basically, it's a short kind of 2D platformer, I think, where you're a small Inuit child and a snow fox, Arctic fox,
Alright, okay.
and it's like local co-op, or you can play by yourself if you're lonely.
Is it kind of stylized and cutesy? Or...
Yeah, a little bit. So it's
I'm
basically
just picturing like
kinda
the
like puzzling.
Snowman animated movie, but slightly modernised.
it's.
Rhythm
I think it's kind of like a 3D kind of cartoony style.
I've forgotten, if I'm honest. So,
Um,
look, it's a big wish
In
list. there, right?
typical Matt style. I forgot.
and the game that I greenlit is called Ether 1,
Okay.
which I think basically the premise is that people are suffering from memory loss due to traumatic events that have happened to them or something. So
Okay.
there's these people who are trained to go into these people's memories to help them kind of unlock it and deal with the trauma and then get their memory back.
Okay.
So that's kind of
like
puzzly as
a
well.
benign version of Inception kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, cool. That's cool. But yeah, I have a major Bethesda games problem. Like I can't just sit and play one for a couple of hours. Like, you know these games where you play them, and then when you're at work or when you're doing the shopping or whatever, you're just thinking about the next level. I get that with Skyrim, and I get that with Fallout.
I can understand. I get that
Dragon
with
Age.
what am I going to build next in
Yeah.
Minecraft. Really, I do.
I did feel like Minecraft was probably quite likely to come up on this.
You just glance at Matt and see that he's suddenly shaking. It's like, oh, Minecraft. He's thinking about it again.
Just rocking back and
Yeah.
forward.
What can I build? What can I build? I need to kill the sheep.
I sat next to him on Wednesday as he sketched out his plans on graph paper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the Outlook Hotel maze from The Shining. That's
I mean that's pretty cool.
it is. Everybody wants to. Well,
You need to get the texture pack that allows you to have the carpet from the Shining Hotel as well.
I'll just make a giant version out of dyed wool.
I suppose
It's
you can
fine.
do
Don't worry about it.
So not only are you going to build the maze, you're going to build it to like twice the scale or
It's going to
something.
be amazing. No, I just it came from watching a video of somebody remake the model that Jack Nicholson looks over in the movie, and it just struck me I could walk around that maze myself. That obviously you could do that with anything, I guess, but that struck me as something fun to do. And in Minecraft, there'd be the added bonus of bad guys and not knowing whether when you turn around the corner, you're
If
going
something's
to have
going
a
to
fight.
explode.
Yeah,
Thing is, if there's a boomer, surely, or see, you got me saying it now, a creeper.
yeah,
Surely there's going to be like just massive holes all over the.
most likely. Yeah, well, I'm going to use mossy cobblestone for the greenery, but
Is
I mean,
that tougher?
slightly tougher than hedges. So because that would come from just cutting trees with a pair of clippers,
Right. Okay.
and that would be you'd have nothing left if anything exploded.
Right.
Plus,
I-
I would cheat my way out of your maze.
just punch your way through.
That's
Straight.
why
Well,
you're not invited to the
This is why- this is one of the
server.
many reasons
I would
why.
like to build it in grass in one version though, just because you could see slightly through,
Mm.
and then you know that classic way when you're lost in a maze, but you do see another path, and you're kind of, I want to go there. I like mazes; they're cool. I actually had a game when I was on our first computer that was just a. I'd love to know the name of it, but it was just something.
Was
silly
it the
like maze.
screensaver?
No, it was a maze where there was
You know, you weren't
giant,
actually playing that. I was
giant
just
square
going on
robot things. It was on like an Acorn Electron was the first computer we had, and it was the most basic models ever. But it was terrifying if you turned a corner and you met one of the guardians of the maze. That'd be nice to recreate that.
Cool. Has anyone else been playing anything over the last week?
Well, to keep going with the
Minecraft.
guilt thing, I don't have guilt with not playing games because I'm so far behind now. I don't mind picking up games for cheaper on Steam because I've got so much to play, and Minecraft. But I don't mind being behind, and I don't really get. Nobody really spoils games like you do get movies. There's no urgency to finish for me anyway, so I can take them at my leisure. Do you
I
guys
guess.
find that? Or do you have to be on top of it straight away?
Oh no, I'm so far behind it's not even funny. I don't know, I think it's less important for video game storylines because it's harder to spoil them because there's not usually much in
Your
the story.
Yeah, for me it really depends on the nature of the game. Because I am a really big fan of Bethesda games, I will take a couple of days off when that comes out so I can just sit and play the game. It's weird, like the last Bethesda game to come out that I really enjoyed was Skyrim, and before, like while I was playing that, I had a girlfriend, and it was probably just as well because before that, when Fallout came out, I didn't have anyone kind of depending on me to cook meals or anything, and I actually would not eat. I would just sit and play Fallout. Like the way you hear about people getting addicted to games like World of Warcraft, I would just sit and play Fallout like that. And it's a really creepy world to get lost in for like a few hours in a day, because it's bloody scary.
It's easily done though. Time flies.
Mm-hmm.
My pile of shame just keeps getting larger and larger and larger every time there's something that's on sale on Steam. I just go and
Yeah.
buy it and think at some point when I'm independently wealthy and have lots and lots of free time, I can just sit and play through this entire Steam library. Like there's like 160 games or something on my Steam library, and I probably played less than a third of them.
See,
That's
I play them, but then I never come back to them. So
That's
that's my
something though. You've
problem.
experienced
Yeah.
the game.
Well, that's a thing that I'm scared of doing. Like, I mean, there's some games that you enjoy the story, but you get kind of burnt out on playing it, and then you go away for a little while, and you come back to it, and you're like, I can't even remember where I am in the story or how these game mechanics work, and then you put it down, even though you've been enjoying it. I know that the reason I finished Dragon Age Inquisition is because I actually took time off around Christmas. I'm being eyeballed by Alice here.
You mean you finished it because it's great, right? Because Dragon Age is fantastic, right?
Well, the problem is I had to balance my desire to finish every side quest with the fact that a lot of the side quests were really bad. There was a few side quests that were just fetch quests. Go and cut this many flowers and take them to this person. It was, in fact, it wasn't even that. It was find this person's ring, who their dead husband skeleton has in the middle of nowhere, and then take it to their hut, and then you'll get a little bit of prestige for it. There was a lot of things like that. You see, you can eyeball me all you want, but you know it is true, and it wasn't fun.
It was a war-torn country. This
You're
poor
the
woman has
leader
lost
of the
her
Inquisition,
husband.
and you're doing busy work.
When you're in the hinterlands at that point, you're not the leader of the Inquisition.
Well,
Spoiled.
I was. I went back, but that's only because the completionist in me took hold. But the reason I was able to finish it was because it was Christmas break, so I managed to sink 65 hours into that game over the course of maybe a month and a half, and most of that was in a very intense 1.5 week period. I logged about 40 hours, and I just don't have the opportunity to do that anymore, which is really sad. But I just worry about half finishing games.
I think the experience is more important, and you finish the ones that are really
Yeah,
special
that's
to
true.
you.
That's true. I guess it's a way of weeding out games that aren't worthy of your time. But sometimes, you've got to get through a rough patch to get to like a really cool ending or something.
I mean, to go back to Minecraft, I've still never faced the dragon, which is the first boss, or is the second boss the thing you need wither skeletons to make?
You see, I didn't even know there was
serpent,
bosses in
scorpion
Minecraft.
thing.
I didn't
Yeah.
know there was
This game
anything
has
after
come
the
on a long
dragon.
way. Like, I thought you just made shit out of bricks.
Yeah.
No,
That's
there's a
what I
proper go to the end, isn't it? Yeah, because
Yeah.
Endermen come from there. It's a small island in the middle of space, and you fight a dragon. And then another update was this 3-headed serpent that you've got to craft yourself, and when it does, it explodes into life. So you've got to build it somewhere that it's not going to damage things, and then it's a really difficult fight.
Why
And
is
I've never done this.
Why is the dragon on the island? Does it belong
Just
to
somewhere
the
to
dragon?
go, because I
Don't
think on
lost
the early
this, okay.
Yeah.
in the early builds there was videos of, I assume, Notch, showing off this dragon, and it just flew through the world
Yeah.
and destroyed blocks wherever
It's
it went.
an ender
rather than-
dragon, so it's in
Right.
the end dimension.
Yes.
Okay.
And you get an egg for defeating this, and they've not done anything with that yet.
Sounds like a bit of a bell ender dragon, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
Wow.
harsh. But anyway, yeah, I've never done that before. I've not finished, and one day I'm going to go and fight him, but
Wow.
the game itself is the fun part.
Okay, cool. So, anyone else been playing anything in the last week?
I started up the Fear collection. I picked that up on Steam because it was on sale last week, and played through about an hour of the first Fear,
Wow,
which is still
it's an
amazing, by the way, and still looks amazing. I was quite surprised by
I
it.
don't
I
know.
remember the fire effects looking really good.
Yeah, like you can still, in places you can tell that it's gotten a little bit old, like, because anywhere where they're using like flat textures or something like that. I like the bit, the very start of Fear, like the first jump scare that happens in it, where that face just appears on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks proper shit now. Because like they must have done that in like 640 by 480 or something,
Yeah.
and then just stretched it out. So when I was playing it at like full res, it was not very. It was a bit underwhelming. It didn't scare me.
I still remember the bit where you see Alma on the roof
Yeah,
on fire. That bit properly gave me the heebie-jeebies.
it's just.
That game must be like 10 years old.
No, it's not. It's only about 5, I think, 5 or 6, 2000.
The first Fear?
The first one, yeah. Sure, it's only about 5 years, 6 years old, because I looked it up to see how old it was. I'm sure it was 2009. I
Wow,
think.
okay.
I
It
could be
it
wrong.
feels a lot older than that.
Yeah, but it's aged really well. It looks really good. Like I said, like some of the textures and stuff don't scale very well up to 1080p. Like it's old enough that it doesn't. It says it doesn't work properly in a widescreen resolution, but it totally does, because I just set it to that and it worked fine.
Alright.
But it gave me a warning this might not work beforehand. But yeah, I got about an hour into that, and then like you said, I got bored and went and played something else that I've already played like 600 odd hours on.
What was that?
Counter Strike,
Alright, okay.
which is what I spent most of the rest of the week playing. But yeah, that's been my week. But
Cool.
I've got the only one I've ever actually played out of the whole Fear collection, because it's got 1, 2, 3 and all the expansions in it as well. And the first one's the only one I've ever played, so I'm just going to play through them all in order through the expansions, which at this rate I'll get done sometime in like 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, following on from last week, I have actually started being stalked by the alien in Alien
awesome.
Isolation. It's a little bit creepy, yeah. You get that really cool feeling of when you have like a heads up, and it becomes a game of avoiding instead of it kind of arbitrarily just coming round a corner and catching you. That's really cool. Like if you're already next to something you can hide under, and then you just hear it kind of clicking above you, and then you see the kind of head come down through the vents, and it kind of drops into the room. That's like, yes, this is going to be awesome.
I'm being laughed at for shaking there when you said it, but I've experienced that. I just saw a tail once appear, and I thought, what's that? Oh God, that's him.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've got to run.
No, I'm with you on that. The original, like Alien 3, made me afraid of the dark, because I watched it when I was about 6
Oh,
years
jeez.
old. My parents went
Wow.
away on holiday for the weekend, and I convinced my grandparents that it would totally be fine if I watched Alien 3. And it's the bit where the alien almost catches Ripley, and then comes the classic shot from Alien 3 where it
Yes.
comes right up to her face and then goes and then fucks off. Yeah, I couldn't sleep in a dark room for about 2 years after that, because every time I closed my eyes, if it was pitch black, I was just like, I'm just going to open my eyes and it's
gonna
be
be right there.
in front of me.
But do you have an alien queen inside you, and that's why it's not going
I haven't checked, but
That's
I
a
hope
very
not.
personal question.
Yeah, I do apologise.
Isn't there a little bit of alien queen inside all of us?
Yeah.
No, I watched someone play through it on YouTube, and I think it just kind of ruined it for me because there was something wrong with their game. Because every time the alien walked past while they were hiding under something, the tail had something. So like they'd walk past and the creepy little feet, and then a chair would just come sliding along behind it, or like a fire extinguisher. So seriously, so every time they'd see it, they'd be like, "Oh, it's right there," and then just see this object, and then they start giggling like, "That's really funny."
I'm loving the concept of an incompetent alien that just keeps getting caught on things.
Just
like
like
a
bull in a china shop.
Yeah.
Just, how do I have a fucking spaceship?
You just hear the vent open and
comes around the corner, screams at you, and then just goes like into a door.
just it's too fat to get in the vents.
Like when you try and sneak through a door and your jumper gets caught on the door handle and you have to try and do it again, just start over. It's like, sorry, right, I need a minute. I like to think that the alien gets its coat pocket stuck on door handles.
Yeah, like wherever it is, it's got a parka. That's
Yeah.
it. Oh, it's bloody hot in here. It takes its parka off and then it hunts you.
Yeah.
It must have off days, surely.
Yeah.
The alien.
Yeah.
Like where it gets up and burns its breakfast, like stubs its toe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the cooker.
That's why it's so mad.
Yeah.
Fucking predators.
Shakes its fist. Bloody predators!
Leaving their shit all over my floor. God.
Severed human heads everywhere. Yeah. So actually, that's a nice little segue for us. Moving on to the movie section. Neil Blomkamp has picked up the Alien franchise.
Oh yeah.
That's the District 9 guy.
District 9, Elysium, and
Chappie.
Chappie, which comes out today, I think. I really want to see it, but
I really want
this
to see
is exciting. Like Neil Blomkamp, has everyone seen District 9?
Yes.
I have, yes.
Yeah, I actually took a couple of years to get round to. Was I patronising you there?
No, I have the thing in my head with the racing
Oh
district.
right, okay.
And I didn't want to say it because it's like an inside joke.
Okay, so Neil Blomkamp is kind of a master of that gritty sci-fi. He's very good at kind of taking something that's relatively benign and making it seem really horrible by framing it in reality. So the fact that Elysium was all about kind of class divide and it could have been a modern movie. Elysium could have been an island, instead of like a space station, and the premise would have been pretty much the same.
The movie probably would have been better as well.
Yeah, he said he regretted Elysium.
I liked a lot of it. I really liked the art design.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Like it's got a really well realised world and everything, and like the clear difference between what it's like on Earth and like what it's like on Elysium. But the pacing was all over the place. And
I think they should have had someone other than Matt Damon because it was just a little bit like
That's Matt
watching
Damon.
The Bourne Identity in the future.
A little bit. Although they didn't hold back when they show you them fixing the exosuit onto him.
Yeah.
That was
No,
that was
that's
cool,
no.
but gross.
Bad.
Still not seen it.
Oh, really?
Elysium.
Yeah, I'm okay though.
Well, we
but
haven't really given any spoilers away
No,
because he's wearing
exactly.
the exosuit in all the
Yeah.
trailers.
Yes, but if it's anything like space-aged Bourne films, I'm right on that because I love those movies.
There's not very much kind of awesome hand-to-hand stuff,
I wouldn't
It's just
expect
because
it.
Matt Damon is
Yeah.
It's
Matt
Bourne
Damon.
Bourne.
to me. Yeah.
but they've got essentially what they've done is I would compare it more in video game terms to something like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare,
Titanfall, you mean?
or like Titanfall as well.
Because they're the same.
But yeah,
Those are two different games.
the
No.
fact that you've got it's kind of this could easily be without the giant space station, maybe 50 years in the future.
Yeah, the grittiness from District 9 as well, like you say, planting it in reality.
I mean, I think District 9 was meant to be this giant kind of allegory for apartheid, I think. Which makes me think that Neil Blomkamp has had some traumatic experience with the South African.
Well,
Because-
he is South African, isn't he?
I don't know.
I
It
thought
would-
that was
it
the
would make-
reason
it would
that
make a lot of
all
sense.
this stuff's got a very South African like theme to it, is because he is in
It's
South
just that
Africa.
guy that's in all of the things.
Yeah, well, he's properly horrible in Elysium. But obviously he's
The
meant
protagonist from District 9 is the bad guy.
Yeah, I do know that.
Part of me wonders if like the alien is going to end up like the little mouth will come out and it'll be him, or it'll speak with a South African accent.
That would be incredible.
I can just see that happening.
But then is he not? Or is it rumoured that he's going to be ignoring episode 3 and 4 of
3
the
and 4, yeah. I mean,
films?
3.
Or it's not necessarily ignoring, but he's tying it into 1 and 2.
Yeah. I think it's almost like a retrofit because it is going to be Sigourney Weaver.
Oh,
who's
it
in
is?
it.
Yeah, she's back.
They've confirmed that, because apparently he'd assumed that she, after playing Ripley for so long, just wouldn't be interested anymore, and that's not the case. So it's looking like I don't know how they're going to make her look younger, if they're going to fit it between Aliens and Alien 3. But there really isn't much out there apart from the concept art, which looks pretty badass. But she is really heavily kind of augmented in these, so maybe that's what they'll do. They'll just put a lot of makeup on.
No, I'd seen that concept art, but I wasn't sure that was a definite.
Well, it
confirmation on
wasn't.
the part.
Like when the concept art was originally released, basically what a lot of people speculate is that it was him going, I wonder if we just test the water, if we get enough kind of press here, maybe, I think it's Fox, will pick it up and they'll let us make it.
I think that's what actually happened.
Yeah, I get the feeling that's probably what happened. He's obsessed with Alien as well, apparently. So it could be in really good hands. I'm really excited to see what comes out of it. Alien isn't one of my favourite sci-fi franchises. I don't know about you guys, but
I'm a big fan of my Alien. I love Alien. It's amazing. Aliens is actually my favourite out of the lot of them.
yeah.
I think that's a perfect casting fit for that. As a director, I think that's you literally couldn't get anyone better to do that.
It's very iconic, you see all these characters and you're like, I can't imagine anyone else playing them. Sigourney Weaver is just a badass anyway.
Yeah.
Indeed.
If there's not another exosuit fight in that movie, then I'm going to be flipping chairs.
Really?
It'll
Yeah.
just be Matt
That
Damon
was.
shows
But
up.
would you want it to be redone? What if it's done not exactly as you think? And,
No, I don't. No, I want to
it'll
see
destroy the movie.
An homage. You want an homage.
I want to see Neil
rip-off.
Blomkamp's interpretation of something along those lines because
guess.
he's renowned for doing really techie kind of stuff, like District 9.
True.
All the stuff that's in that, all the tech that's in Elysium, and the robot guy that's in Chappie, which I think is based off a short that he did or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
The short is amazing. I haven't seen the film yet, but the short that I think it's loosely based on is very cool.
Have any of you guys seen his concept footage from Halo? He had a stab at making a Halo movie, and a lot of people kind of have noticed the similarity between Elysium and Halo because it's a giant.
Well, I was going to say,
it's
I
just a
thought they
giant
used some
ring.
parts of that.
I
in
think they
Elysium.
must have done because you can actually see the. It is a ring and it's kind of couched inside the ring, much like Halos are. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do with this because when it comes to sci-fi directors, I think he's the best for Alien because he doesn't hold back. It'll be an 18. It has to be.
I would hope so. To do it justice, it need to be.
And it'll probably be gory, but in a I hate to say tasteful, but it'll probably be appropriate.
Yeah, not gore for the sake of gore,
Yeah.
gore presented in a realistic and kind of off-putting manner.
Which is what
it with
it's what
respect.
the Alien franchise has always been. It's what you can't see that's more terrifying, and then you actually see it. And no, that's pretty terrifying too. But yeah, he's been quoted as saying, "At least a film, if not more," is what he's working on.
Wow.
So I don't know how Alien would translate to a TV show because it's very isolated. It's very kind of claustrophobic. Is the feeling I get. So maybe he's going to take it to a planet or something. But that's more of a kind of Predator style thing.
Have they confirmed storyline wise for it that it's going to be? Because the thing I maybe interpreted that differently because when I read it, it looked like he was saying that he was just knocking 3 and 4 out of the canon completely, which is not so bad a thing. Because, yeah, they weren't that great.
Yeah, even if Joss Whedon wrote one of them.
Yeah.
I think it's that's why it's half a comedy. It's ridiculous.
Did he write 4?
I think it might have been 4. Yeah.
Well, if they can bring back
That weird.
the feeling of the first two, especially the first one. The first one's my favourite. Just they're completely different movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thriller.
one's a horror film, one's a sci-fi action film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I asked this is, well, the way I interpreted it was that he was just going to completely ignore 3 and 4. I mean, 4 definitely needs to be ignored. The thing with 3 was that thematically I thought it fit quite well for an ending to the trilogy, but it was just bad. It was just a bad movie because it was chopped up to bits. I've never actually seen the re-edit of it, which is actually supposed to be a lot better than the original one. But the thing I'm thinking is that if they're going to do that, then maybe they'll just kill her off.
Yeah,
Kill her off again, but give her a better send off than she got in Alien 3, and then hopefully not. Then 10 years later, decide to clone her.
Yeah.
And then maybe continue on with one of the other characters in it, because they killed off the little girl in 3 as well. They killed everybody,
if you're
didn't
ignoring,
they?
If you're ignoring 3, you
Because
can
you
bring
can bring back
Newt
Hex,
into
you
it,
can bring back the androids, you can bring back Newt.
Bishop.
Bishop,
Yeah.
thank you.
I mean, the androids, you could probably just
make another.
there's a
He's done
bunch of
a
them.
replacement.
Well, that's true. He can be in it without with a pretty.
Although there's something endearing about knowing it's the original Bishop.
Yeah.
If they did use it.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's any way it can be any worse than AVP or Alien Resurrection. There's no way.
I think the last one in the last Aliens versus Predator type. Well, the last Predator film I enjoyed. I liked the first one, but Predators was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not a big Adrian Brody fan, I was quite surprised.
Well, Predators was literally just a redo of Predator with with extra people in it.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's why it worked really well.
It had B movie written all over it, but it actually turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that one, but
I did, yeah, but Predator 2 is still my favourite.
really?
I'm with you on that
There's
too.
something. It's corny, but
Yeah.
it's great fun.
Son of
And
a
it's
bitch.
set in the city as well, and I'll never get over the ending where you see the skulls inside the ship. That's my favourite.
Well, that's what tied off the whole Alien versus Predator thing in the first place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was the original?
Yes,
there was
there's an alien
there was
head in
alien
there.
slug, which was just a production joke, and then turned into a whole thing.
Fantastic.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, a whole set of some good comics, a couple of really one good game, a couple of really mediocre games, and some really shit films.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Cool. So, the Age of Ultron trailer dropped this week. Anyone see it?
I have, yeah.
I've not watched it yet.
Oh.
Are you one for the Marvel Cinematic
Yeah.
Universe? Or?
I've just not gotten around to it because I'm lazy.
I wasn't that bothered by the first one. The first trailer, not the first movie I loved. The first trailer for Age of Ultron, because it didn't really show very much, and that was fine. You see Hulk fighting Iron Man. That'll probably be the showpiece, and that's what worries me, is that they've created a lackluster villain, and the major fight is going to be with the Hulk and Iron Man, because everyone seems to be fighting everyone else in this one. And it was just little kind of catty arguments in the first one, which admittedly were pretty funny.
I don't know. I think Marvel movies have had that problem in that apart from Loki, they haven't really managed to make a good permanent villain. Most of the villains in the rest of the Marvel movies, while most of them are really good,
Yeah.
with apart from Loki and maybe Red Skull.
Yeah.
Kind
The
of.
thing is, Red Skull's obviously kind of disappeared.
Yeah, they're kind of lackluster villain wise, but I think James Spader is an amazing actor, and Ultron is a really cool character for a bad guy. 'Cause
Formidable.
It's proper scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it could work as him having being the main kind of.
I am hopeful, but you kind of get to see a bit more of the cast, and there's just this epic scene of. You remember how in the first one the shot that they used was them all kind of back to back in the middle of New York.
Yeah.
I was saying, this is going to be amazing. This one's a bit cornier, and it's kind of like a slow motion shot of them all kind of leaping into action, and it's like Black Widow and Hawkeye leaping off a jeep, and it's a bit silly. Hawkeye actually looks really badass in this one as well.
I think there's a big push to make Black Widow and Hawkeye
I think they're going to get their own
more
film.
badass.
Make them not shit.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I mean, considering the Avengers are... They just run that massive gambit from really just kind of super powered like the Hulk down to this lady is quite good at martial arts and has
Yeah.
guns.
Oh, she's fantastic. The interview scene where she's actually.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Character-wise,
phenomenal.
she makes up for it by actually having a character.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hawkeye, on the other hand, is just a tosser with a bow.
Yeah.
It's a real shame. Yeah.
I'd have put Hawkeye lower on that tier than
Yeah.
Black Widow. Like Black Widow's at least.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm a low-key fangirl anyway, so I was rooting for him the whole way
Is
through.
it not more of a Tom Hiddleston thing?
It's a little bit both.
Okay.
But I'm just kind of not looking forward to having a Quicksilver that isn't Evan Peters, because I'm a huge Evan Peters fangirl
He's
as well.
awesome.
I
They
just
do a really good job.
He's
of that.
so
like, he
sarky,
kinda
it's
stole
amazing.
The scene, stole
Yeah.
the scene in Days of Future Past.
More!
I do like, again, a name, therefore I don't remember. The Marvel versions of Quicksilver, I think it's going to be really impressive, but yeah, you can't take anything away from the Days of Future Past
Mhm.
Yeah.
guy.
There's-
He was just such, like, he really embodied the comic book character, because, like, in the comics, like, someone says to him, how come you've not been helping us out if you've been here the whole time? And then he, like, pulls out some video footage or photos or something from all the fights that they've done, and he's like, I'm right here, like, I'm running around and moving all these bullets so that you don't die. What are you on about?
Incredible. Wow.
And it's like, oh, Quicksilver.
Have they like? Has there been any mention of how they're explaining who Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are? Because presumably they can't be mutants in this
Well, they were introduced
universe.
at
Yeah,
the end of the.
At the end of Winter Soldier, I
Yes,
think.
that was it.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
It'll be the
that's
bonus
the
episode.
post-credit scene.
Oh, I don't remember
You
that.
see Scarlet Witch. They're both in kind of cells, and it's Hydra scientists.
Right. Okay.
And you see Quicksilver kind of in pain by the looks of it, rushing around
Round
his
about his
cell,
place.
and Scarlet Witch is like making something levitate. That was clearly one that was for the fans,
I
like,
must have missed
because
that.
you don't really see anything cool. You just like, oh, that's who that is. But
So they're going to be like failed super soldier experiments
Well,
or
I-
something.
well, you certainly see in the trailer that they are fighting the Avengers at least at first. So I imagine there'll be a conflict there, and then they'll become best buddies.
And then you can get rid of Black Widow and Hawkeye. Have people with actual
And then they can make
superpowers.
Evan Peters Quicksilver.
Yeah.
They are planning to do that, I believe.
Have you just sending your letters, Stan Lee,
No, I heard that.
care
too.
of Marvel?
Stanley, please. More Evan Peters. More.
Are you serious? They're going to try and.
Yeah, they're wanting to bring Evan Peters as Quicksilver over into the Avengers universe.
It's really strange.
I need
don't
it.
know. They could
I
do
need it
some
in my
kind
life.
of multiple universe type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for.
I mean, the fact that they've got Spider-Man now.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is like.
I think they're just trying to bring
Yeah.
everyone
It
over
is
to the
great.
Avengers and have like a big mega film that has everyone.
Well, he's such well, they're talking about Civil War. I guess I'll go off on one a little bit because Civil War is my favourite Marvel crossover that they ever did.
I agree.
It's only maybe
It's really good.
7 or 8 years old. It's not very old. Mark Millar, Scottish writer as well. It is just incredible. Like, you actually see all of so much of conversation about comics seems to be who would win in a fight between, and you get to settle so many scores in that book. The basic premise is that they're split right down the middle. Like, all the heroes fight each other. And you get to see Iron Man face off against Captain America. Spider-Man is an integral character to it as well, because he starts off on one side and then switches to the other, and he does a big reveal as to who he is.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really interesting as well. Part of me, and it'll never happen because the hype mill is too big, but part of me would love them to save that. Like, you will not know who's playing Spider-Man until he takes his mask off
that
in the
would be
film.
good.
That would be.
That would be
very cool.
incredible, but I can't see that.
But what
ever
if they did it
happening.
and then it was Matt Damon or something? It's like, oh, it was Jason Bourne the whole time.
Are they doing Peter Parker Spider-Man? Are they doing Miles Morales Spider-Man?
Well, that's a lot of the conversation as well, is who's going to play him, because
Donald Glover.
I love Donald
Donald
Glover.
Glover.
I love Donald Glover,
Spider-Man.
and the last point on our kind of entertainment section is about Community coming back,
Oh yeah.
which I am super excited for. But yeah, Donald Glover. There's been so many points, like the Nerdist podcast spoke about him playing Spider-Man back at the last reboot. I really liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
He was the best thing in like him and Emma Stone were the best things in this film.
They're non Peter Parker
Yeah.
rather than Spider-Man. It was his
Yeah.
little storyline. That was the
Yeah.
saving
The
grace.
two of
that
them were
movie.
really good.
I mean,
Everything else in
they
those
had the
movies-
benefit of the chemistry from being a real couple.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, they were both really, really good. But yeah, so Community is coming back. I don't know. I'm guessing Ian's seen Community.
I have.
I don't know if you guys have seen
No,
Community.
I've not watched it.
It's
You've told me lots.
It's one of my
Watch it.
favourite American comedies. It's very meta. It references pop culture a lot, which is, I think, a large factor in why I enjoy it so much. It's got like some relative unknowns. Ken Jeong is probably the kind of highest profile actor they've got, who was the kind of crazy Asian guy in The Hangover.
Yeah. Guy that gets left in the boot and stuff. isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But I mean, they've had some major cameos, like they've had John Goodman and things like that. Things like guys like that.
Chevy Chase.
It's a shame that show kind of spoiled Chevy Chase for me, because I've heard so much about how he's not a very nice person,
Well,
and so they've they've killed him off. But Community's had a really up and down kind of lifespan. I think after season 3 they let go of their showrunner Dan Harmon, and then season 4 they refer to as the year of the gas leak, where everyone's acting strange, because they got rid of the writer. So he came back for season 5 because season 4 wasn't very good, and now they've gone to like digital, like they've gone to Yahoo, which I didn't even know Yahoo had a television wing. But I'll definitely be watching the new series of Community.
Yeah, that's something I need to start. But there's a million other shows.
I mean, the fact that you can watch it in little 20-minute bites makes Community really good.
yeah, most of the shows that you're thinking about watching aren't as good as Community.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee it.
Okay.
It's
I'm not going to mention any of them because you will just shoot them down. Yeah.
But yeah, like Community do a really good job of having these special episodes. So you'll have like an overarching story throughout the season, but then you'll also have, in the first 2 seasons, there's what's called the paintball episodes, and basically it's something I fantasized about as a kid. Like, what if I could take the school and give everyone a paintball gun, and everyone just runs around and plays paintball in the school? They have episodes like that, and they're themed as well. So there's one that's like Wild Western themed, and there's one that's Star Wars themed, and it's awesome. I'm getting some very kind of wary glances from Alice here.
But how is this presented? Is it like show up to work dressed as Princess Leia?
It's
or
kind of zany.
Or is it just does this happen? It's in a world where
It just
that
kind
is
of
like-
just kind of happens. Sometimes they'll at least give you the reasoning behind it, whereas more often than not, it'll just be the lead in, and then that's that episode. Because obviously it's only like 24 minutes or something, so they have to kind of keep it tightly scripted. But I'm really, really looking forward to Community coming back.
It's not like Matt's going to get round to watching any of these things anyway, because Minecraft.
That's
Got a
not
wall
good.
to build, Matt.
You just need 2 screens.
Just get that little plug-in thing where you can watch stuff in Minecraft and just
Oh,
stick
yeah.
a nice big browser window up and just sit and watch Community while you're building things.
Okay.
I'll get
But
right
we'll
on
come
that.
back to that. Well, I listen to audiobooks or podcasts.
Yeah.
Again, something I do with Elite Dangerous. It's great for that. But
What, listen to podcasts while you fly about?
Yeah.
I can see that. I really want.
I imagine
They're
that's maybe
timestamps
what
that they
makes
really
Eve that's what makes Eve playable, because there's a lot of just flying through space in Eve.
Yeah.
Nah.
I've just never been drawn to Eve. As much as I'm told it's not just a spreadsheet game.
It kind of is.
Kind of is though. It's a really fun game to play while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're
You
looking
should
for
put that on
stuff
the box.
Yeah, literally. Like, it's really good
What a
to like.
tagline.
It's really peaceful and serene at times. If you're not doing space battle stuff, if you're doing flying about courier missions and things, where you like go right, I'm going that way, and then you tab out and go and do all the other stuff that you've been putting off while you wait to get to your destination.
But I've heard that people have actually made real money from it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's kind of intriguing.
Eve has this awesome kind of back setting that people care about so much that corporate espionage exists within that game.
Yeah.
Like, people go undercover for a year.
Oh, it's fascinating. Yeah.
It's like
stripping
Second
everything away
Life,
from that.
but with space.
it just seems utterly bizarre to me that
And
you
less
can commit.
short, fat, green people going around going, "Hey, babes."
Yes.
Have you not seen that? The guy who's like a troll in Second Life. Like
No.
he finds people who
Second
are
Life
like,
was something I never got into.
well, me neither, but it's on the internet.
Sure.
Basically, it's this guy.
You're the green guy, aren't you, Alex?
I am not the green guy. That's my official response.
Okay.
It's just this big, fat green guy who looks like a troll, like a really hairy Shrek, and he finds people who are sexting and just kind of makes it really awkward in the way that it would be.
What if you were in the middle of sex and a giant green hair dude turned up?
Yeah,
I think,
and just
I think
kind of
if
hangs
you're
around.
sexting in Second Life, you're already awkward enough.
Yeah, I know, but I think it would be just. I need to stop bringing these sorts of things up.
No, it's good.
Like
Proof that we're not the mad ones.
Yeah.
Like was it the first episode where I brought up the naked ladies dancing on your desktop, and
Yes.
no one had any idea what
And
I was
Geralt's
talking
butt.
about. Well, yeah, but that was a given. Like,
Right,
I would
yeah,
talk about
of
butts
course.
at some point.
And 16 hours worth of mocap sex scenes.
I don't think I brought that up.
Is that Sophia?
I think it was on the sheet.
It might have been.
16 hours mocap sex. You can ask me.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
The
that's
new
like,
the new Witcher game
Yeah.
has
Oh, yeah.
16 hours worth of mocap sex.
Has it got jiggle physics?
I don't
Well,
know.
mocap. So.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I was
Just
saying,
Some
like,
interesting. Like,
if there isn't a shot of Geralt's ass, I'm going to be disappointed.
you're gonna have to make one
Equality
yourself.
in gaming, guys. Give us some man butt.
And that is the official stance from Alice.
I'm
Cool.
pro-feminist because I want man butts in games.
So we're just coming up to an hour now. So we'll finish off with our normally quite light anyway science section. I mean, Sophia's arguably our most scientific.
Our
member.
resident physicist.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if anyone would object to that.
She is our
Oh, no,
crazy
it's not.
scientist.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I was reading on Engadget today that Lockheed Martin have developed a laser called the Athena that can burn right through a car's bonnet and like destroy its engine from a mile away without making the car explode or killing anyone.
But why?
Slightly terrifying.
Well, it's good for things like say an embassy somewhere, in the Middle East that's like a terrorist is driving a truck at full speed towards it, maybe laden with explosives. They can use this laser to burn out their engine, and
Well,
then
so the guys just get out and
well, I
pick
would
up
ima-
the explosives and then run towards them.
well, I would imagine then they get shot. But
By lasers?
The point is, it incapacitates the big heavy truck with
yeah,
explosives.
and they can't deliver explosives right into the heart of someone.
Well,
Yeah.
saying that, I've seen crash videos of these safety barriers to stop trucks getting in, and it's quite something. It's
They're
eye
pretty
opening.
good.
It's they're just at that height where they go above the axle, but just take everything off the base of the truck. It's unbelievable. They
Well,
don't need that much help.
the factor that made me think that this was really cool is that not only are giant lasers inherently cool, but it also, when they explain how it works, they kind of focus multiple laser beams into one to destroy things, and it immediately made me
Death
think
Star.
of the Death Star.
They didn't go there at all. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I just thought that was pretty cool because Star Wars.
Yeah, but do you want anyone to actually have that kind of power?
Not really, especially because it's Lockheed Martin, which means
Especially not the
probably
US
Americans.
government.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the last people
Honest,
that want
it's
to have
for
space
protection.
lasers.
I just want like that laser thing from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so that you can cut your bread and it twists it for you.
Yeah. that would
Lasers will be
pretty
cool when you can cut bread with it.
So you're talking about a
Coolest
small,
thing since sliced bread.
a
Yeah,
light dagger.
A laser
yeah.
that slices bread.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I guess
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
useful
Yeah.
in my opinion. Yeah.
It's a tiny lightsaber,
There's
basically.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I find that concept of those lasers incredibly scary.
Yeah. Because
Just
especially
getting told
because
through Judgment Day.
you think of kind of like the incompetence of some people who might have access to it. Like if it's been given to like an embassy guard, and there's been no trouble in that area for like a couple of months.
And he's bored.
Yeah, like put the popcorn down at the end of the road, and then I'll blast it with a laser and see what happens.
Right, if you had a laser and you had some popcorn and you were bored, don't say you wouldn't do that.
Well, of course I would.
Well then.
But
He's not an embassy guard.
yeah, how likely am I to be in possession of one of those lasers? That's the issue here.
That's true.
Whereas, you know, an American GI that hasn't really done much in the last couple of months, other than push-ups, he's probably going to want to use that giant laser that's on the roof.
But what technology will that then make? That's the more worrying part. It's
Yeah.
what it'll lead to.
Well, it could maybe be used for like industrial mining or something like that. I don't know. Maybe.
Or off-world mining, when they get down to mining asteroids.
Or urban pacification.
Yes, that
That's
could
true.
also be.
Or tiny lightsabers.
Well, it wouldn't be tiny. It would be like a mile long lightsaber.
I only want a tiny
With
one.
super lights, it would be okay. Oh, it'd be calamity, just waving this around a mile long
Just
blade.
imagine it'd be like the Fox, the Fox searchlights. Just a bunch of lasers cutting wings off planes.
It sounds like a fairly scary concept to have. Like, it's only a matter of time till somebody puts that on a robot and then gives it AI, and then we're all dead.
This is what Stephen Hawking was going on
We're all
about.
dead.
AI, like Rise of the Machines.
That it will be our downfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's other not quite as smart scientists saying that it won't.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he's not I don't think Stephen Hawking is a robotics specialist. But I'm not really in a position to
challenge
argue with
Stephen
Stephen
Hawking?
Hawking.
You don't know what you're talking about, stupid wheelchair man.
What do you
Someone
know
pushing
about
it away.
robots? Yeah.
I just think of the Simpsons Stephen Hawking with the boxing glove loaded into one of the armrests.
Yeah,
Oh,
say
I
that
bet
to
he's
his
going to be
face.
first in line to get one of those lasers attached to that thing, man. I would be. Because he's bound to be able to
'Cause
have
he
the access
loves
and
popcorn.
resources
Yeah.
for that.
He loves popcorn.
I'd just be using it to set fire to people that displease me.
So you're not getting
And that's
one.
why you're
I'm
not going to be
definitely
an
not getting
embassy
one.
guard.
Yeah, that's
That's me
recorded
also,
now.
that's me also on a list.
When you're
Yeah.
when you're running for Prime Minister, this will come back to haunt you.
Well, it'll be this.
No, probably all the bodies under the house.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And the ones on top.
Well. All right. Okay.
I ran out of shingling.
What, kind of like a
Ah.
Jeepers Creepers kind of thing?
Oh, God, yeah. That movie was so scary until
I
it
know.
showed you what that thing looked like. And
I
then you were
know.
like,
As
I
with
know.
all
It's like,
horror
it's a
movies.
giant dragonfly.
bat,
Bat
mouse
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, on that note, we'll call that the end of episode 3. Thank you very, very much for listening to us today. We do have episode 1 and 2 coming out in pretty much the same time as 3, most likely. We're working on getting out really soon. So yeah, please do keep an eye out for more content coming up as well. We are planning on going weekly, but we'll see how that goes. We might skip a week here or there. You can find us on Facebook, and if you have any questions for us, you can email us at splittingpixelspod@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from some of you guys. Until next time, thanks very much, and goodbye.
Wow.
Bye.